Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday to you all. We find ourselves back in action. Big recovery overnight. This is interesting. Hey, good morning, Michael. Hey, Paul. Marking out the key levels here on the S&P. As the market has recovered that bounce from yesterday. We'll see if we challenge yesterday's highs. Morning, those of y'all just coming in. Looks like we might be trapped in yesterday's range so far. As we discussed yesterday, if we break through all this action, we have a long ways before any key levels. It's been a while since we've been down this far. But we'll zoom in here, see what's cooking. Big move down got reversed. We have a spike and like a secondary channel forming. And that looks like an overshoot out the top. So a little bit sketchy to expect another move up. We'll have to wait and see what happens on the open. I believe that overshoot was probably news too. See if that coincided with the news release. Not quite. Interesting. Morning, Joanne. Yeah, so on the news front, pretty mixed bag. Everything was, there was some misses, some hits. No crazy big differences between the numbers. Jolts at 10 a.m. could be somewhat significant. If it weren't for that overshoot, this might be a decent opportunity to go long here. But I'm going to be waiting on this. Meanwhile, let's go check in with our good buddy Nasdaq. rocking yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Those are going to be the immediate levels. We'll zoom into NQ as well, see if there's any difference in the trend. Good morning, Tommy. Hey, Neil. Hey, Tom. So same kind of deal, spike up, secondary channel forms. And doesn't quite look like an overshoot on the Nasdaq, so back on the S&P, we got the market open here in 321. Nice pop there. Kind of a volatile little open here. Ooh, I'm popping in. I'm going to hop in on the Nasdaq. Get a nice second entry. We did not have an overshoot over there, so can feel more confident about taking a long. See if we get that pop up. Since it is the open, I'm not really wanting this to go negative. I'll take the scratch if we need to. If this can get a little pop, I'll start trailing my stop. S&P's dropping down. I think we're going to get scratched out here, which is fine and no big deal. If this turns into a higher low, though, I'll jump back in. Yes, so far continuing to hold the EMA. Let's see what this next bar does. And I would also consider taking a long on the S&P as well. Good morning, Julian. That's a pretty nice bar if it can close up above the 21. That's right on it. A little bit of a doji there. I'm going to jump back in NQ. Nice. There's that pop. We'll trail the stop, lock in a win. If it keeps going up, great. Otherwise, I'm content with a little scalp here. Boom. There we go. Just took that on context. We have an uptrend in play. Close outside. We expect that second push up. EMA kept holding. We had a nice signal bar here. Another one here. EMA kept holding. We were really unable to get below it. So high likelihood that we at least get one little pop up, which is right there. Maybe it continues to a new high. Maybe we get some more chop, but worth it in my opinion. Does kind of look like we're going to get a correction now, though. S&P dropping back below the 21. All right, 21 not holding. We may have a bit more of a correction here. And again, we do have jolts at 10 a.m. So that's another 25 minutes. And definitely a lot of market participants this morning. S&P back above the 21. If we get a nice higher low, I will consider it. Man, these bars are pretty big. Definitely volatile. Look at that. That's a 7-point bar right there. No big deal. think a higher low would work better here on the Nasdaq because it's still like close to the moving average. Okay, here we go. Maybe a nice higher low on the Nasdaq. I'm going to take it if this bar isn't too massive. That's a pretty big bar. Yikes. 36, 40, 45 points maybe. Not going to be taking that one. But it does look like we're likely to go up to that new high. And for the S&P, test even yesterday's high. Make sure I have that level correct. Actually slightly higher right here. If we can get another pullback, we still might be able to get an entry. I want to take a long way up here. It'd be better if we could pull back a little bit, get something like that. I would take that trade. Same on Nasdaq. All right, there's the new high, almost on the S&P. So that trend on the S&P is played out. Move up, close outside, new high. We got to pause at this point. We would expect the sellers to come in and test the downside soon. Although on the S&P, I think we might test this level first before we get any correction. On Nasdaq, the trend is still technically in play. We've not yet had a new high. But as the S&P goes up to likely test yesterday's high, NQ probably will get that pop up as well. Yep, there ES goes, now testing yesterday's high. See if it breaks up. Expecting sellers to come in. NQ played out as well. So we are in wait and see mode here. Expecting a market correction. There's a lot of this. We turned around at this level many times yesterday. The one thing you don't want to do here is click a button. We're right at a key level. Anything can happen here. We're expecting sellers to step in and try to push the market down, right? But this could be a legitimate breakout area. So it's too high to buy, but too dangerous to sell. Just gotta wait. It's not the answer that people want to hear. I know all you button clickers out there, but it is the answer that's going to put money in your pocket in the long run. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button this morning. Only got 19 likes in here. If you're appreciating that I can't talk. If you're appreciating anything about being here this morning, just click that button. Super helpful for the channel. NQ had a nice little move up. It's well within range of yesterday's high as well. Couple bear bars there. Hey, thanks, Scuba Steve. Appreciate that, man. All right, here we go, guys. Getting a little bit of a move down. We are now also 10 minutes away from the JOLTS number, which should cause some bars moving in the market for sure. All right, we're watching this trend form in real time. If we can get a nice pullback that respects the 21, we'll take a short. We do have to be mindful of the time though. So 10 minutes currently until JOLTS. If a trend form, or sorry, if a setup forms in the next couple minutes, that's cool with me, but probably not in like 8 minutes. Come on, ES, let's get that pullback. NQ is not even below the 21 right now. All right, here we're back at the 21 on ES. Nasdaq is acting as support there, so not a great sign for a short, and time is a ticking before this JOLTS number.
Street, there was a great deal of improvisation in classical music, as you know. And because of the fact that there were no electrical recording techniques or any way to harmonize or to catch music and to record it.
We have not had one attempt lower just yet.
Harmonized that way. And so slowly but surely, the writing of the music and the interpreters of the written music gave way to more and more interpretation and more cerebral composition and less improvisation. Until finally, improvisation became
Getting a little volatility before the release.
and the interpreter. So the composer even survived.
So there goes the short, and very likely won't get a setup before the jolts number. And if we can clear that key level, yesterday's high, and stay above it, we're going to be bullish. There's very likely some sort of wider trend at play if that happens. So we're still watching that key level, still waiting for the news release. And nothing to do in the meantime but taking the information, and it will help us figure out where our edge lies. Right now, that's a little bit of a mixed bag. More bullish than bearish, I would say, but it really depends on if we can get above that unbroken high there.
This is that once in a lifetime.
There's a pushback down below the 21. Let's see if Nasdaq is going to comply with that. We now have, what is it? 2 minutes until the jolts number. This should get interesting. Get ready, folks, because after this number is released, should be good to go on taking a trade. And we may have enough information to do so. Hey, Captain Kirk, did I take the lower high? I'm not sure what lower high you're talking about. We've had a bullish trend for most of the session, so no, I took a long earlier. All right, 30 seconds till jolts. All right, there is the number. Consumer sentiment, a little bit higher than forecasted. And job openings are a little bit higher than forecasted as well. So some generally positive economic news there. See if that's enough. If it's a big enough win for the market to consider bullish. So far, not really. We're still kind of hanging out at the same level. So now we're keying in on price action here to see if we can cross back above that key level. If we don't, then we're likely to start getting some shorts. All right, there's that second leg down of that downtrend on S&P. Nasdaq could actually just be starting the downtrend. If this continues lower, I would be interested in a short. I do kind of like the action better on Nasdaq right now. The EMA holds as resistance. We get a second entry short. I'll be considering to take that. Unfortunately, S&P's not really doing the same thing. This kind of looks like the trend is played out over here, and a double higher low might even be better for a long. NQ remaining in that little downtrend. That might cause us to create a larger one on ES. So we'll only keep this if the 21 holds on this next pullback. Well, this downtrend's looking pretty good now. So hopefully we can catch a short on the next pullback. Hey, good morning, Octopus. NQ is also ripe for a short. It's in a nice little downtrend. We're just waiting for a pullback to the EMA. Julian saying, do you mind telling us why you didn't take the short at 10.07? Looked like a second entry short. First, let me know what symbol. Are you talking about the S&P or are you talking about Nasdaq? Yes. All right. And I'm going to assume you mean 10:07 Eastern time. Yeah, definitely not a second entry short here. So this is 10:07 right here. Remember, you have to, for shorts, you start at the low to begin your count. So here's the low right here. We had a pullback and then a first entry to a new low. So not even close to a second entry. Didn't even touch the EMA, so there's no trade there. You're probably, I would imagine, you're probably looking at it like this, right? Starting here, first leg of the pullback, one attempt down, second leg of the pullback. I would imagine you're probably looking at that. But notice this made a new low, so you have to reset the count. Every time you make a new low, that pullback's done, right? This was the pullback, pullback's done right here. So you have to start over. First leg of the pullback, first entry to a new short. We have to start over, start over, start over every time we get a new low. So you can't call it an irregular second entry short? No, it's just not. The pullback ends right here. And even if you wanted to take it, it still didn't touch the EMA, right? And you only have $250 to the low. You're risking 5, so you have to have a really high win rate on that trade. It's not a great setup. And 2, at that time on the S&P, we weren't sure about this larger trend, right? You initially have to have a shorter trend. We had a break. We had a new low. You're actually expecting a bounce here, so that's doubly dangerous. But now we can feel a lot more confident in the short. We have a confirmed downtrend. If we can pull back to the EMA, this is when we're going to want it to set up. This is when it'll be good. NQ looks even better. It's a nice tight channel. Everything's looking solid. Come on. Let's get a pullback. Still not getting that pullback, just making more new lows here. ES is just hugging the bottom side of that channel. Keep in mind, guys, we are still inside yesterday's range. It was a pretty small range yesterday. We have not broken out of it. Here, the S&P just had an overshoot of this channel. So, could get a big bounce here. If we don't, we may have some sort of steeper trend like so, which I would kind of favor since the Nasdaq is still in its trend. Still waiting on that pullback here for the S&P. We have not touched the EMA in quite a bit. It will happen at some point, I promise you. All right, so here we have a pullback. We have one attempt lower. This is looking great so far. We're waiting for one more leg and a bearish bar right around here. That is going to be our short. Lex saying, wouldn't it make sense to play the channel directly? What do you mean by playing it directly? You mean just shorting every time it gets to the channel line? Because that doesn't have an edge. Load up a bunch of old charts, see what would happen if you just shorted every time we got back to the channel, or went long every time we got back to the channel. You need a little bit more confirmation than that. Assuming that's what you mean. All right, here we go. See if this bar can go higher. Perfect. Now if it ends bearish, we're gonna take a short. Looking good so far. Don't want this bar to end up too big though. 5 1/4. Okay, I could probably do that. No bigger though. Jeez. Jeez. All right, doji anyway. And another thing, Lex, assuming, okay, let's just short every time we get back to the channel. Where does your stop go? We got back to the channel right here. Where do you put your stop? How many points higher? You don't have any market structure really to protect you there. Would you get stopped out now? It's already gone 5 points higher than the channel. So those are the kind of problems you'll face. That's why it's really important to A, backtest, and B, make sure you have a rule set that actually has an edge. All right, this is a promising bearish bar, pretty dang big. We're also potentially getting a second entry short on Nasdaq, so I'm watching that pretty closely. If this bar turns bearish, we'll take it. Nice, I like that bar. Got to close near its low though. A little bit of a doji, but I think I'm going to take a chance on this one. We'll trail my stop pretty tight. Also watching ES. Make sure it stays below the EMA. If it starts bouncing, Nasdaq is very likely to bounce too. S&P pushing down. Nice. Might take the scratch here. Really do not want for this to turn into a loser. This inside day. Don't even have a confirmed trend yet. S&P is bouncing, and no bueno. If the S&P puts in a lower high here, I will take that. So looking for this to tick above that previous bar, turn back down bearish, but it's not. And I'm going to get out of Nasdaq early so I don't have to take the full loss. And same on Nasdaq, I will, if we push back down below the 21, I will take a lower high, but pretty much got to take this setup. That's a solid bar. The only reason to skip it would be what the ES is doing, but setup itself looks really good. Still think we have a really good shot of getting a short here. I might just jump in on Nasdaq based on context. If it gets to my order, I'll take it. Don't like these bars forming on ES though. I think I'll cancel that order. Pretty dang big bars. Look at this thing, man. Holy cow. 9-point bars. This has been kind of the norm lately, which is pretty wild. So yeah, anyway, we do have a downtrend in play for the time being, so I would favor shorts in the short term. But overall for the day, we are still stuck in the range. Uptrend most likely ruled out as we failed to break this high. Downtrend still could be possible, but a range is the most likely result, unfortunately. So if that is the case, if we do have a range day today, we will want to look for reversals more than trend continuation. Buyers are being pretty stubborn here. Prices are not able to hold below the 21 very well. Still holding out hope for a short, especially on the Nasdaq. I think it looks a little bit better. So I'll wait a couple minutes here. We might get one. Ah, shoot, there's a close above the EMA. So now we're going to have to wait for a move below and a lower high. So that's what I'm looking for on NQ. I'm going to switch over to Discord and we'll keep hunting that setup. Hopefully this downtrend, it gets a new load. kind of suck to see a V-shaped reversal. That will be an indication that price action is not behaving well today. So we shall see. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.